Hello viewers, if you are studying in the UK in an undergrad course or a master's course, you will be required to write courseworks, projects and dissertations. And each of that assessment requires you to describe the methodology of your work. And what I have noticed that international students who have no prior experience of studying in the UK get completely confused what a methodology is. One of my own module, managing finance, where my students have to write a business report, I require them to explain the methodology which they have used to write this report. Last semester, when I was marking work of students, I was so surprised, disappointed actually, to see that many students, when they were writing down methodology of the report, they described the methodologies which were used by the subject company to carry out their business, which does not make sense at all. So your methodology is the method which you used to carry out your research and write your report. So the purpose of this video is to explain this briefly. I'm not going to go into much detail. When it comes to methodology, there are two parts of this section which could be included in your writing. The first one is the theoretical aspects of methodology. So what is the theory on methodology? And usually this includes the research paradigms. These paradigms are known as ontological and epistemological paradigms of research. However, the third area of the research paradigm is a methodological inquiry of the research. And this includes what methods and procedures will be used to carry out your research. And in this area you will see two major aspects are techniques. One is called qualitative technique and the other one is called quantitative techniques to carry out your research. And for my coursework, managing finance, you should be looking at quantitative methods of research because our coursework is primarily numerical. What I noticed that when students are writing a dissertation which is 7,000, 8,000 words, and when they are describing their methodology, they do go on and they talk about the research paradigms and the theory behind it. They try to explain these concepts. And then they try to explain that why they have chosen a certain paradigm to carry out their research. My advice is that if you are writing a bigger piece of work, at least 5,000 words, then you should maybe, depending on the assessment brief, which you should follow closely, you can talk about the theoretical aspects of these paradigms and justify why you have chosen a certain paradigm and why you went for a certain methodological inquiry that is a quantitative or qualitative methods of research. So it's kind of a literature review on the research paradigms which you may have to include in your methodology. So that is the first part of your methodology section. If you are writing a short piece of work which is only 2,000 or 3,000 words long, then do not include the literature review on the research paradigms. Just go straight into describing how you carried out that research. The second part of your methodology, your own experience of carrying out research. So that would be, if you're doing a primary research, then it would be interview, observations, surveys, and stuff like that. But if you're using secondary data, in that case, You will have a document. So I refer to my own assessment brief for managing finance, a business report on financial analysis of a company. Main secondary data is your annual reports for your company. So you will describe that you are using annual reports for your company and you have collected them from this method. So you need to describe your method. You can also include other documents which you have used. For example, if you went to London Stock Exchange website, or if you went to Financial Times website, or Yahoo Finance, Google Finance, and if you went to the library, you use some books, you use some articles and journals, how you collected industry data or competitors data, or you went to a data source, for example Bloomberg, then you need to describe that you used these sources to collect your data, and which sources you would you relied most upon, and why you had to use certain resources even if they were not that credible. For example, you can talk about for Yahoo Finance and Google Finance, okay to use, but certainly you would rather go to a better source like London Stock Exchange, our company's own website, for example. So that's how you collected data, and then you would describe how you process that data. So you process that data in, if you're using a ratio analysis, vertical analysis, horizontal analysis, you're using Thornton Z-score, you need to describe those methods, why you use those methods. Obviously, if assessment brief tells you to use, then that is the justification. But if the assessment brief was open about it, then you have to justify that why you use these methods. And mostly because they were commonly known, they were you understood them well, and you thought it would be appropriate to do so. And the third part would be how you write your report. Basically, the skills you needed to write a business report. You use Microsoft Word, you learn how to use Microsoft Excel, and any other softwares which you used to write your report. That would be your methodology. So to summarize, there are two major parts of methodology section. One is more of a literature review on the research paradigms, and the second one is carrying out of the research. So when you look at the second section, there are three areas. The first one is how you collected your information or data, how you process that data, and the third one is how you finalized and reported that data. So I hope methodology now makes sense and nobody is going to make a mistake in the methodology section. Thank you for watching this video, guys. I hope you liked it.